Hi, everybody. Welcome to Serenity Cards and Coaching. Today is October 19th, and Santa Claus is coming to town. This is Serenity Cards and Coaching. My name is Leila Monkey. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and Gallup Certified Clifton Strengths Coach. And today we're going to be making some Santa cards. So we're featuring the products in the mini catalog with the Santa Express. And so we'll be seeing cards with the stamps, the Santa's delivery, the dies, the twine, the memories and more, and the note cards, the stars, and the designer series paper. So this entire suite is on page 17, and I'll be showing you lots of close-ups as we go along. So let's go ahead and get started. We've got 4 cards for today. And you guys, this class today is free for you. But I'm also going to be taking you through a kit that I'm offering right now. It's a Santa Express kit. And in the kit, you get half a pack of the twine. You get almost a full pack of the memories and more cards. I had to take a couple out for another kit. You get half a pack of stars. You get 3 memories and more cards, although you're going to be using one of them. 2 of them together, and then you get this designer series paper, and so you get half a pack of it. And I'm still figuring out, because I've got to do some die cutting, so I'm going to see if I can pull from my own paper to do the die cutting, but I'm going to die cut some of these little cars for you. So as with all of my kits, look at this, there's like Diversity Santa, Mrs. and Mr. Santa. I love that it's just embracing all the different skin tones. And so look, just Santa is coming to town. So super fun product. So as with all of my kits, I try to make them so that you do not have to have the product, the stamps and the dies. However, I also try to make them so that they really, really highlight usage of the stamps and the dies. So these are the cards we're going to make today. You get 5 in the kit. And you get a PDF, including really detailed instructions how you can cut this card yourself. Now, when I give fun folds in a card, in a kit, I do the cutting for you. So I'm going to show you how to do it today. I have really, really close-up photos how to do it. But when you get the kit, you're going to get it yourself. I'm just hoping you might think to replicate it yourself. So, but we always start easier, and we work our way to a little harder. So let's start with the easy peasy. And this first one here, it's a square card. I've really been loving square cards. Now, we don't have square envelopes at Stampin' Up, but I bought quite a few of them, so I've been kind of featuring square cards. So this is the first one we're going to make, and it just says, "Dear Santa, I've been a very good girl this year. Please may I have stamps? I left peanut butter fudge for you." So it's just a fun little card. You can kind of handwrite that in right there. Super easy to make, but let me go ahead and show you how we're going to do that. So when you get my kit, you get all the ingredients that you need. You cut the designer series paper, and I give you the sizes for that. But however, I've already done some of the cutting ahead of time for you, so I'll just give you a couple tips. And by the way, this is one of the embossing folders, and look how nicely that embosses, right? So, and you'll get a piece of that embossed in the kit. So, so you've got your square card, and I think he fits inside the envelope, so he must be 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. And then I cut the designer series paper just a little bit of 1/8 of an inch in. So we'll get that applied right there. And honestly, you can pick any designer series paper patterns. Once you see like what all the cards are, you can follow along exactly. You can make it your own. You can just do whatever, pleases your artistic eye. And I want to give a shout out to Linda. This is a design. She sent me a card with this design. I think she learned it from another stamper. Not sure, but I first saw it from Linda. And I loved it so much. So you guys would have seen that with Wonderful World. I just featured the same exact design with Wonderful World. It's the exact same measurements. It's the exact same everything. And I just love how it all kind of comes together. So I can get you these measurements in a second. They're in the PDF. And I always give detailed measures in my PDF. So these guys are, and if you don't, now if you're on my team, you get PDFs for free. If you get the kit, you get the PDF for free. I sell the PDF, or you could just do a quick little listen and snapshot. So the petal pink was 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. Bermuda Bay, 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. The Ho 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 pattern, 5 1/8 by 5 1/8. Now I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this Memories and More card pack. We're basically going to do it kind of in 2 steps. So I've got my Memories and More right there. And that came out of this pack. I've got an open one right over here. So like I said, you're going to get the bulk of the pack, and it's got large sizes and small sizes. It's got cutouts with, you know, different phrases. It's got some windows. We're actually going to use the windows in the kit today. But we're going to use this card right here. We're going to use the Dear Santa card. And what we're going to do, and in this sequence, so I liked the candy cane side on one side, and then I like the Dear Santa on the other. So in this sequence, I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut the candy cane piece first. Now it's already 4 inches. So I'm going to cut the candy cane. I want to preserve the Dear Santa, right? So I'm going to cut the candy cane at 2 7/8, and 2 7/8 is just a little bit shy of 3. So if you're using our Stampin' Up! Cutter, those are 16ths. So you want to do just like 2 little notches shy of the 3. So now I've got my little candy cane, and he matches perfectly right there. And now I'm going to cut this guy a little bit in. I'm going to do him 3 1/8 and 3 1/8 so that he fits on that Bermuda Bay that I've got. So that's already 3 1/8. And then I'm just going to come in and do this. Let me make sure. I always like to, where'd my Bermuda Bay go? Yep, he's a square. So I'm going to come in. Of course, I want to keep the Dear Santa. So I'm going to do 3 1/8 over here. Now, if you wanted to feature something else, you absolutely could, right? So, but I love the Dear Santa. So I'm just going to write my little note. And then those are the main tips you need to know for this. I'll show you the completed version. And you could put that on the inside as just a nice little decorative touch. So let's kind of take a look at what it would take to finish this guy up. So you're going to come over here. You're going to adhere this guy right here. You're going to further layer this right in the middle. But before you put this guy, so let me take you at least that far. I'm going to get this guy glued on. And then I'm going to work with this iridescent twine. Oh my gosh, I am having so much fun with this iridescent twine. I just made this as I was sitting here. This is something I'm featuring in my 12 Weeks to Christmas on Saturday. So if you're on my email list, you will get to get the video for that on Saturday. But that iridescent twine, oh my goodness, look at it. It's just so sparkly and so fun. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap a bow, and you get plenty. You're going to get half a roll, and it's a full roll is 30 feet. So you're going to get 15 feet of this. So you've got plenty to make big bows, and you're going to want to make big bows. So let's just tie the little bow tie the big bow right there. I'm just popping in right in the middle, because really the focal point is the Dear Santa. So even if he's right in the middle, that's what I love about glue. That got off center, and I can still come in a minute later and fix it. So I can come in with my Dear Santa, write my little note, put that there. That's going to be my focal point right there. And then you get half a pack of these snowflakes stars. Look, I've been using them so much already, right? So I'm into my next pack. But anyway, you get half a pack of these. It's plenty for the kit. And you just sprinkle on your gems, just every little place, and there you go. You can write whatever note you like. I wrote peanut butter fudge because that's a family tradition of eating peanut butter fudge at Christmas. Sister Doris makes the best peanut butter fudge, and so I just was thinking of that when I was thinking of Santa. So that's our first card, and it's really just kind of cutting and gluing. And then he pops right into the square envelope, and super fun. And you just write your own personal little note. So that's card 1. And now we're going to work our way to the next card. That might be a little bit more difficult. It's got a few more steps, but it's super fun. So this next card, and let me do some house cleaning and get some of the measurements out of the way. Okay, the next card that we're going to make, well, I bet you want to see it first, don't you? Not all the ingredients. Oh my goodness. I'm so organized, I don't even know where it is. Oh my gosh, you guys. I guess I brought it over here. Yeah, okay, perfect. Oh my gosh, I love this card. And this one, I just had so much fun with Santa. I've been playing with Santa since since this is the first thing I played with, and I was in a swap and I played with it right away. So this is the card we're going to make today. You could make him a shaker card. I didn't, but you could make him a shaker card. And you can feature any of the cars here. You could feature dancing, Mr. and Mrs. Claus. You could put anything right there. But let's go ahead and get started and see how we can make this dimensional card. Since she was a little girl. Aw, Doris, I'm not seeing the rest of what you said, but let me see what your chat said. Yeah, I love Santa. I love Santa. Alrighty. I still believe in Santa. That is the truth of the matter. Alrighty, so by the way, you're going to get a couple of these. This is a Memories and More note card, and it's a little bit larger than our normal our A4, I think is what we work with, or A2. Anyway, it's a little bit larger than our normal card size. You're going to keep one full and intact, and we're just going to put that off to the side. I'm giving you an extra red one as well that you can just use on your own. And then I took a second one. I will do this cutting for you, and I'll tell you why I'm doing this cutting for you, because I've got the Fabulous Frame die. So we're building our own it's not a shaker card, but we're building our own window card. So I use the Fabulous Frames dies. This is not part of the Santa Express suite. This is one I've been featuring ever since Bingo. And so I'm going to go in. I basically took your card, I cut it down to size. You can see it's a little bit shorter so that we can get the window that we need. I will do the cutting of that, and I will do the die cutting of the frame. And then I'm guessing I'll probably put the foam on the back, or otherwise, how am I going to do that? Yeah, I probably will. So, but I want to show you here how I do it. So these foam strips, Cindy just ordered these, and they're amazing. I love them. I just replenished them as well. These are foam strips, and they're just great anytime you're needing to add dimension to maybe a long, narrow shape, right? So I put some on already, but let me just add this final corner here, and let me give you some tips. If you want to make it a shaker card, then you definitely want to get your corners so that they're solid. You definitely want to get your corners so that like none of the sequins could peek through, right? So I'm just going to come back, and so I kind of overshot it. I didn't go right to the end of the corner. I went beyond. And then I kind of butted up right next to each other. And then I'm going to just lay it all out. And then I'm going to come all the way down here. And I really want to make sure that if I'm going to do sequins, I really want to make sure that I've got that good and snug as a bug in a rug so nothing can come up. So I've got that. And I want to make sure that there's not curling going on, because you want this to be a nice flat frame. Now, I am not going to make it a shaker card, but if I were, let me tell you one further step that I would do. I would come in and I would take my embossing buddy. You guys know the embossing buddy. We've got an embossing additions toolkit right now, which is amazing. You take your embossing buddy and you go all around. This is before you take the strip off. You want this strip to be sticky. You don't want this strip to be sticky. So you're going to take the embossing buddy and just go all along the inside. That way, if you put your sequins and they move around, they're not going to stick to this side. So, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to keep that like that. And now let's build the rest of the card. So now we've got our frame. And again, you're going to get these two pieces like that. I'll already do that for you. You are going to need to do some additional work though. You're going to go through your Memories and More card pack, and they're 4x6. I mean, you might want to put something different behind the window. You might want to put these guys behind the window. All the colors mix and match. You might want to put this behind the window and make it like a photo frame, right? You can do whatever you want with it. You're going to get like I said, you might just want to make a Merry Christmas card, right? So I'm just going to stick with the same thing that I stuck with, which is kind of a nice little Santa scene. And I cut him down to size. So I'll give you those measurements in the PDF. But basically, well, actually, I think I said cut it down to size. So you might need to measure that. But anyway, it is, I'll just tell you right now, it's 5.5. So you're going to come in and be like a little bit shy of 5.5 to cut that. But you basically just want it to fit right behind there. So let's look at our example over here. You can see that I've got my Let It Snow behind the scenes. Now I've got another thing happening. I've got a window. Now it just so happened there was only one snowflake window. You're going to get this snowflake window in your package, and if you want it, you can use that guy. But I've already used it. So I found another one that would work. So I'm just going to use the Merry and Bright. And I didn't even realize it. There's a protective coating on it. So take the protective coating off. When I made the other card, I didn't take the protective coating off. So there you have it. But there you go. Take your protective coating off. So I want to put the Merry and Bright adhered to this part right here. So I'm going to use the Terran tape all along the edge right here, and I'm going to put my window right there. And I didn't do this ahead of time, so you guys are just going to get to watch me. I'm just going to go ahead and put this all the way around. And so if you wanted to make this a shaker card, we have different sequins you could purchase, so you could do that. What other things could you put in there? I think we're selling like little jingle bells right now. You could put little jingle bells in there. They're like flat. So any of the embellishments you could put in there. I think the clearance rack, the clearance rack was refreshed. I think the clearance rack even has some new sequins out there. So if you wanted to, you could pop on and get those guys. So I did my Terran tape. Again, I'm not making it a shaker card, so I'm not going to go ahead and do all the layers all the way around, but you would do the window all the way around. And I'm making sure my window's clean. And now I'm going to go ahead and line it up. And I'm wondering if you can see it. I bet you can. Okay, so I'm going to do it so that the window shows all the way through, and hopefully not too far beyond, and it doesn't go beyond the fold. In my case, I think my window is coming out just a little bit, so I will get that trimmed. And then the other thing you're going to be aware of is that your little frame is going to go on there. So we've got this built, and we've got this on the inside. I know, you know what? As I'm doing all these steps, I'm like, holy moly, it's a lot of steps. But I just sat here one day, you guys, and it just came out of me. So that's how that works. I just love to play, and just, I love layers. I love texture. I love color. I love interest. And so I just kind of kept building and building and building. All right. So you are going to put this little background right there. You're going to put the window right there. And now we're going to go ahead and seal that because we really want that to just be one layer. So we'll come back in with a little bit of glue and just make it one layer. And now we have it. And we're almost done, you guys. So that's that guy. And now I'm going to come in. If you wanted to, you could take a paper towel and just kind of wash the window one more time. Now I'm going to come in and put my, if you were going to do a shaker, how does that work? Well, I think you would have done the layers differently, so sorry about that. All right, yeah, I'm just going to put this right here. If you're going to do a shaker, of course, you want the sequence behind the window, so you would add the window higher up. So sorry about that. But anyway, all right, so now I've got my frame added. I've got my Let It Snow, my Merry Christmas, and I'm going to go ahead and add it to the front right here. So I'm adding this to the front right here. And then I'm going to add my little, so in my case, I've got some Santas cut out. So I'm going to go ahead and add my little Santas. And I've got them right over here. So I would put dimensionals on my little Santas, and I would just kind of build that right there. You could also take dancing Santas if you wanted and put that right there. And then if you further wanted to decorate, you could add a bow off over to the left. You could wrap it all the way around before you add the window. You could put little puffs of smoke stamped out and colored with blends. You could put your little snowflakes. And there's your sweet little window card. So that's our sweet little card. So that's that guy. And yeah, you guys, the window would go, so how many, you know what? I will add the window for you because I'm putting the foam on for you. So I will take this snowflake window and I'll add it for you. And that way you could make it a shaker card if you want. So sorry that my instruction didn't show that, but to make it a shaker, you want it on the higher. So I'm gonna let you guys have that option. I'm gonna take this snowflake, I'll add it to the higher guy. So I'll kind of build your shaker card for you. So if you wanna put something inside, you can. So that's that guy. And then don't forget to put your little bow. So that is that guy. And now we're gonna move on to this next card. We're gonna get 2 of these cards, and these cards, it's called like a faux step card. And so you could do, like I told you, I like to give you card ingredients where you could either just take the designer series paper, maybe take a punch that you have on hand. Look at this sweet little, I added a white little tail right there. I added a little Rudolph's nose. I added some antlers, and then the magic is in the air. So you could take and just, you know, add your own little deer punches, or if you had the stamps and if you had the dies, you could stamp and color Santa ever so carefully, and little penguin and little sign to the North Pole. This would be just the sweetest card to give to a little one. So, I'm going to show you how we're going to make this faux step card. I've already cut and scored the fold for you. There's 2 folds, so let's go ahead and assemble it. So I've got it, and you're going to get 2 of them, and you can mix and match. Now this one, you're going to need to decide if you're going to fussy cut or what ingredients you're going to add. I pulled a few different things. I cut out the dancing Mr. and Mrs. Claus, and I thought that might be kind of cute right there. I pulled out one of the Memories and More cards. I thought that might be kind of cute right there. I've got Santa, I've got reindeers, I've got wreath die cut. So you could do any number of things, but basically you're going to take your piece of cardstock. Again, I cut and scored this for you, but I give you the instructions. And this guy is cut to 5.5 by 8.5, our normal, and then we score at 3, 6, and 7. And then this guy is 8.5 by 2 3/4. And we score at 4 1/4, and that's going to be the piece that folds over. So those are the measurements there. We are going to put a piece of white on the inside, and we can decorate that. That's cut to size. And then I've already cut the designer series paper for you, but you would cut your designer series paper, and I'll give you those measurements, and they're in the PDF. And you would basically, you could take any background layer that you want. I took these trees, I thought they were kind of fun, these triangular trees. And then I just took this striped designer series paper, but you could mix and match any different thing if you wanted. And so I'll go ahead and get these adhered while I tell you the sizes. This is, let's see. So the designer series paper is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. So 2 3/4 by 5 1/4, that goes right there. And then this guy is 1 by 5 1/4, and he goes right here. And you guys, that is it. That is the card base. From here, we can embellish how we want. So then the way that you add this guy is you adhere it like a tent, right? So you're going to glue it. You're going to glue it right there, and you're going to glue it right there. So we'll just go ahead and glue on the one side. And I'll get that right there. And you can center it or put it off to the side, or, you know, it depends what your focal point's going to be. You can put it wherever you want. So he's right there. And then I'm going to glue it on the back. And so he's right there. And now we can decorate how we want. So we can take our piece of basic white and decorate. And we could put our dancing Santas, or we could take a piece of designer series paper and decorate, or we could take our Santa and put that right there. We could trim down Santa. We could do whatever we want. So I think I'm just going to put my basic white for simplicity purposes. I'm going to put that right there. But you could further come in and cut a piece of designer series paper. I'll put those guys, I could dimensional, or I could use adhesive. I could put a little sentiment, and I think that's what I'll do. These guys are kind of ice skating. Look how sweet these guys are. These are ice skating. You could take your deer. I like to sit and work with a number of ingredients. So I sit with a number of different, like I stamp and die cut all these different guys. This is one of the dies that comes with it. And so I might put like a wreath that matches right there. I might put a dancing deer off to the left. You could even use like the penguin punch. So you could just kind of mix and match all your different elegant elements. When I worked with the train, I ended up putting like a piece of trim right there and a bow right there. And so there is our sweet guy. So that is that guy. And you're going to get 2 of them. And then it's up to you to kind of cut the different designer series paper and put the elements. Now you're going to get so much extra designer series paper that you could very easily fussy cut the dancing or ice skating Mr. and Mrs. Claus, or you could very easily fussy cut another Santa on a train. So there are so many elements that you could, if you get the dies, you could do the dies, and if not, you could fussy cut. And so you're going to get ingredients for 2 of those, and there will be plenty of ingredients for you to do that. And now for the star of the show, I've got the Easel fold. And oh my goodness, this guy has a lot of pieces to it. So let's go ahead and get started and see what this fun fold is. So I'm just going to show you. This is all you're doing is you're cutting and you're scoring a couple different places. So, and I've got pictures step by step by step telling you exactly how, and I'm going to show you exactly how. You're going to start out 8.5 by 8, and then you're going to cut a line here, and you're going to score to the left, and you're going to score to the right, and then it's going to fold into a nice easel. So I'll take you through that all the way. And then from there, it's a simple decoration exercise. You just add all your designer series paper and all your decorative elements. And I do include 3 of these die cuts for you. So, so let's go ahead and get started. So I've got my piece of 8.5, and I've got all the measurements written down. 8.5 by 8. And I'm doing this on the long side first. So this is the 8.5 side. So 8.5 by 8, and I'm going to cut a 4-inch line. Where am I going to cut the 4-inch line? So I want my paper. And again, I do this for you, but if you want to repeat it, it's kind of a fun design. So I'm going to take him to the 2 1/4 inch. So that's where I want my line, is at the 2 1/4 inch. So I'm going to hold that, and I'm going to keep my blade up there for now, and I'm going to shut it. So that distance right there is 2 1/4. And I want to go up 1 1/2 to 5 1/2, and I'm going to do it at the bottom. So if I'm going to go up 1 1/2, that means I'm going to start at the 11 mark, because this ruler goes to 12 1/2, and I love that. It's like big enough to hold. It's bigger than 12 by 12. So it's 12 1/2. So I'm coming up 1 1/2. So if you can see right there, that's the 11 inch. And then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go up to the 7 inch. And that's it. And the way that I can tell is I can see that that's a 7 right there. And if you can see that, there's like a little, let me show it to you. There's like a little bump on the side of this blade. And that bump right, like that little groove right there, tells you exactly that I'm at the 7 inch, or I'm exactly at the 11 inch. So, so that's what I did. I cut it to 7. I went 7 to 11. So let me get that back in. Pops out and in pretty easily. And now I'm going to do all my scoring. So I cut my 4-inch line. Now I'm going to score to the left of the cut line. And I'm going to do it at the 1 1/2, the 3, and the 5 1/2. So I'm going to go to, I'm making sure that I'm on the short. So I want to go, I've got my cut line, so I want to score to my cut line. So now I've rotated my thing. Otherwise I'd be like scoring the same way that I've cut. So I've turned, so I'm going to score up to my cut line. So I'm going to go 1 1/2. And I'm going to go 3. And I'm going to go 5 1/2. And that's it. So I've got that there. Now I'm going to go to the right at the 4-inch mark. So I've rotated it, and now I only want to go up to that line at the 4-inch mark. I'm going to go right there. So then I burnish everything really, really well. And I'm going to fold right there. I'm going to fold right there. Now I see that I made my cut line a little deeper than I wanted, but that's going to be okay because I'm just going to cover it. I think that I didn't see very well. So I'm just going to cover that with a long strip of designer series paper, and it's going to seal it. But you see that I've got my shape right there that I want. That's my like easel fold. So again, I cut from here to here, and then I scored. And I scored. So, and how it's going to look in the instructions, I give like really, really close up instructions. So like, let me show you this. So when you get the PDF and you're going along with it, it just really shows you, you start at 11, you go up to 15, and then it shows you what it looks like, and then it shows you where to score. So hopefully between the video and the PDF, if you want to repeat it again, you can, but you're going to get it already cut for you. So now let's go ahead and make the rest of the card. In the kit, you're going to get a slimline envelope. You would cut your strip of designer series paper, and I've got all the measurements. You're going to get the train tracks. You're going to get 3 randomly die cut. I'm just going to take some, I'm going to try to take some scrap paper that I have here. Extra designer series paper that I have here, and try to cut out shapes, or I may need to go into your pieces and cut, but I'm just going to cut 3 different Santas for here and trains for here. And then you're going to cut up these pieces. So basically what we're doing is we're cutting all the pieces to decorate this guy. So you're going to have this guy, so he goes all the way across right there. And you're going to have this guy, so he comes in right here. I'll let you know these measurements. And then you're going to want this guy in the back here. And you're going to want another one on the inside. And then you put your train track here along the bottom, and you're probably going to need to snip it. And then you're going to add your Santa. And oh my goodness, how sweet is he, right? So, so that is how that assembles. And so when it's all done, you've glued the fa-la-la, you've glued this piece here, you decorate your sweet little penguin. You know, we've got a penguin punch, so if you don't get this kit, you could maybe, penguin is a little bit bigger in the penguin punch, but you could maybe pull him out and pull him into the activity. I've cut this strip of the iridescent twine. I just kind of cut it the length and I put that on with glue, and then I put an extra little bow right there. I stamped and puffed some little clouds, and I colored them with Wink Stella, and I added some little snowflakes, and then the inside is decorated as well, so you can just stamp special delivery just for you. So so you guys, between the PDF and these instructions and you getting the kit itself, you should be in great shape to be able to make these cards and then repeat these cards on your own. So here we have all of our different cards, and so sweet. I love Santa Claus. My mom and I always used to say, I believe, and I sure do. So, so here you go. Here's your Santa Express. And then the only other thing I would say, if you're watching and if you're not on my email list, I have a 12 Weeks of Christmas series happening right now. We're just about to get to week 9. And this week, this Saturday, comes out every weekend, I have a bunch of different ways to make these fun little crackers and little decorative treats, and a variety of options there. So I thought I would make it up with this fun paper, because you're going to have some extra paper. It's super fun. Got some sweet treats inside. I'll share all about what kind of treats would work. And so that's it, you guys. I want to thank you for attending today. And, oh, let me see. I see questions. Do I always use the thinner ball end? What's the advantage of both? Terry, I am completely random about which end I use. I'll be honest with you. The thinner end, I feel like, breaks it up a little firmer, actually. I think that the thinner end gives a nice, good, really crisp score line, and the thicker end probably takes a few more passes, but that's my experience with it. I really, really like to have the fibers kind of split up. So any other, I see some nods, any other questions from anybody else? No? Alrighty, I'm going to stop recording and then I'll come back to you guys.